Welcome back, my fellow West Ham supporter. Go ahead and drop a like, share this video, and subscribe to our channel. That helps strengthen the claret and blue chain, making our club bigger and stronger every day. It was one of those games West Ham fans have been craving. While the first team continues to stumble, with lukewarm performances and frustrating results, the under-21s decided to remind everyone that there's still fire burning beneath that claret and blue shirt. On a night of grit and passion, West Ham defeated Swindon Town 3-2 to secure qualification for the knockout stages of the Virtu Trophy, one of the toughest competitions for development sides. What seemed like just another victory quickly turned into something epic. Goals, tension, and a dramatic ending worthy of English football. From the very start, the youngsters showed intent. Joshua Ajala opened the scoring in the 25th minute with the confidence of someone who knows what he's doing. The team kept up the tempo, and before halftime, George Earthy, returning from injury, doubled the lead with the composure of a natural talent. It looked comfortable, but football never lets you relax. In the second half, Swindon pulled one back through Paul Glatzel before Josh Landers restored West Ham's two-goal cushion. With the score at 3-1, the small stands at the county ground were buzzing, and it seemed like only a matter of time before the final whistle. But Swindon had other ideas. They scored again, making it 3-2 and pushed West Ham back in the dying moments. The young Irons defended bravely until the whistle finally came, a wave of relief sweeping across players and staff alike. Victory secured, qualification confirmed. But the night wasn't over yet, and what happened next would change the tone completely. In stoppage time, with the match already decided, a minor dispute near the halfway line escalated into chaos. Swindon's Joel McGregor and West Ham's Luis Brown clashed, shoving each other until tempers boiled over. By the 100th minute, the referee had no choice but to show both players a red card. Coaches and officials rushed in to calm things down, and order was only restored once both were sent off. The joy of victory suddenly mixed with the weight of responsibility, a reminder of how fine the line is between passion and recklessness. Greg Lincoln, the interim manager of the under-21s, took a deep breath after the game. Having stepped up following Mark Robson's promotion to Nuno Espirito Santo's senior staff, Lincoln now faces the challenge of bridging the academy and first team. And what he showed against Swindon was a group with real character. This competition is perfect for creating that bridge from academy to senior football, Lincoln said afterwards. And he's right. Facing a League Two side in front of an experienced crowd is no easy task, but West Ham's youngsters handled it with maturity, even as emotions ran high. With the win, West Ham secured top spot in Southern Group D, leapfrogging Reading to become the first development team to reach the knockout stage of this season's Virtu Trophy. More than just a qualification, it was a statement, a morale boost for a fan base desperate for good news. Because when the senior side struggles, seeing the club's future shine again means everything. And this time, those shining lights aren't distant prospects. They're names knocking on the door of the first team. That's where this game takes on a deeper meaning. Amid the tension and tackles, a few talents stood out for all the right reasons. George Earthy, in particular, played with the poise and vision of someone ready for the next step. The way he controlled the ball, dictated play, and showed calm beyond his years suggested that the West Ham Academy is still alive and thriving, even if the club sometimes forgets its roots. The win over Swindon wasn't just about progress. It was a reminder, and perhaps even a message, that a new cycle is taking shape. And while the senior side wrestles with inconsistency, the club's heartbeat is still strong, pulsing in smaller grounds, through the same claret and blue pride that's defined West Ham for generations. Before we carry on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is really important because it strengthens the claret and blue family, making our West Ham bigger and stronger every day. It's fascinating how West Ham always seems to find a way to reignite itself when the flame starts to fade. The club is going through one of those periods when supporters look at the first team and feel that something vital is missing: courage. And strangely enough, that spark has returned through the under-21s. The win against Swindon wasn't just a good result. It was a statement of character, of passion, of identity. Everything the claret and blue stands for. Over the past few years, West Ham's academy has ridden a roller coaster. After the golden era that produced names like Joe Cole, Michael Carrick, and Mark Noble, came a more uncertain phase. Promising talents were sent out on loan too early or overshadowed by short-term signings for the senior squad. Fans grew used to watching potential fade before it ever truly wore the West Ham shirt. So when they see a performance like this, raw and full of energy, mistakes, and bravery, it feels like rediscovering the club's soul. Greg Lincoln, now in charge of the under-21s, understands that better than anyone. He stepped up just as Mark Robson joined Nuno Espirito Santo's staff, taking over at a delicate moment. Lincoln might not be a headline name, but he represents something crucial: continuity, belief, and patience. Against Swindon, his team didn't play scared. They played with purpose, learning through the battle, embodying the essence of development football. The intensity of that match, the pressure, the late chaos, the fearless energy, all of it reflected a side that feels the game. It may look reckless at times, but it's also proof of life. In modern football, where everything is rehearsed and calculated, seeing young players fight with genuine emotion is a breath of fresh air. That's why this generation matters. They're not just playing, they're reminding everyone what West Ham is supposed to feel like. George Earthy is the clearest symbol of that. Coming back from a tough injury, the midfielder played with calmness and intelligence that belied his age. His touch, awareness, and leadership were striking. And Nuno Espirito Santo is watching closely. The manager, eager to refresh his squad with new energy, knows that he'll need players with discipline and hunger, players shaped by that same academy spirit Lincoln has worked to preserve. This might mark the beginning of a quiet transformation within the club. When the academy starts producing players who combine skill with personality, it forces the senior setup to pay attention, and that, perhaps, is the missing link. Supporters crave wins, but they also crave recognition, to see themselves in the team. Players like Ajala, Landers, and Earthy bring that connection back. They remind everyone that the West Ham DNA, the fight, the flair, the unity, was never gone. It just needed the right caretaker to nurture it. Greg Lincoln doesn't shout or seek the spotlight, but his post-match words said it all. It was a great challenge, and that's how players grow. That humility speaks volumes. His work isn't about creating instant heroes, but solid foundations. In doing so, he might just be paving the way for the next Mark Noble, someone who understands what it truly means to be West Ham. The chaotic, emotional match against Swindon captured everything about this period at the club. Imperfect, unpredictable, but alive. And maybe that's exactly what West Ham needs right now. Not perfection, but passion. Before we carry on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is really important because it strengthens the Claret and Blue family, making our West Ham bigger and stronger every day. There are moments when youth football becomes something more than a game. It becomes a metaphor. This under-21 victory over Swindon was one of those moments, because at its heart, it represented more than 3 goals and a qualification. It was a reminder of what West Ham truly is, a club built on hard work, belief, and courage. Watching those young players fight for every ball, stand tall under pressure, and defend the badge with pride was like seeing a miniature reflection of the club's story: resilience, heart, and identity. Lately, supporters have felt that the first team has lost some of that identity. Now, under Nuno Espirito Santo, the team is still searching for its true rhythm, a balance between talent and purpose. There's quality, there's investment, but something deeper has been missing. And perhaps that's what makes the under-21's victory so powerful. It reignites that lost connection. It reminds everyone that West Ham isn't only about signings and budgets, but about growth, values, and loyalty. Look closely, and you'll see that this youth victory mirrors a quiet shift within the club. With Nuno at the helm, there's a renewed effort to align the academy with the senior team, to rebuild a footballing identity that flows through every level. The under-21's performance, guided by Greg Lincoln, was proof that the bridge is beginning to form. When Lincoln spoke about creating a pathway between academy and senior football, he wasn't speaking in cliches. He was describing exactly what Nuno envisions for West Ham's future. George Earthy might be the first to cross that bridge. His comeback from injury wasn't just about fitness, it was about mentality. He played as if the match meant everything, and maybe it did. His calmness, his leadership, and his determination are exactly what the senior side has been missing. Players like Earthy could become the spark that helps Nuno bring fresh energy to a dressing room that desperately needs it. And when we talk about inspiration, it's impossible not to mention Mark Noble. Now, part of the club's hierarchy, Noble has always insisted that West Ham must look within. He embodies the spirit that binds every generation together, from academy to captaincy. The under-21's triumph felt like a direct echo of that message, a collective reminder that the future doesn't need to be imported. It's already here, growing in claret and blue. That's why the post-match celebrations carried a deeper meaning. The young players didn't celebrate like professionals completing a job, they celebrated like believers. They knew what that win meant, not just for them, but for the whole club. At a time of criticism and uncertainty, every academy victory feels like a rebuttal, proof that the West Ham spirit is alive and loud. The fans feel it too, even if they don't put it into words. West Ham supporters have never asked for perfection. They ask for authenticity. They want to see commitment, effort, emotion. That's what the under-21s gave them. Ajala, Earthy, Landers, Brown, they all played with honesty and hunger. Even the heated ending, with red cards and tempers, only reinforced that authenticity. For one night, West Ham felt like West Ham again. Now comes the real test, turning that spark into something lasting. Greg Lincoln will have to guide his players through tougher matches in the knockout rounds, but if they keep this identity alive, they can do more than win trophies. They can rebuild the emotional link between the club and its fans. Because in the end, that's what matters most. Not the result, but the feeling. What happened at the county ground wasn't just a youth fixture. It was a sign, a glimpse of the future in a time of doubt. While some question whether West Ham has lost its direction, these young players showed that the compass still works. You just have to look in the right place. And if Nuno Espirito Santo listens to that message, he might just find the key to transforming the mood across the whole club. Football runs in cycles, and sometimes the deepest answers lie in the simplest stories. A 20-year-old's goal, an honest celebration, a coach who believes in learning, and suddenly an entire club remembers what makes it special. West Ham doesn't live off easy glory, it lives off belonging. And this generation, with their raw, emotional, fearless football, has just reminded everyone what it truly means to be West Ham. And that wraps it up for today. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, drop your thoughts down below, and share this video with another hammer who needs a bit of hope this week. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. See you soon. Come on, you Irons.